Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel for another Marvel Contest of Champions video. And this one is going to be a little bit of a weird video. I'm just going to kind of catch you up onto how the break is going so far since I've left High Tier Alliance Quest and Alliance War, as well as just sort of hitting a few topics that have to do with investment in the game as well as enjoyment in the game in general. I'm going to cover a few things like the fact that I recently finished Carina's Challenges Volume 2 to basically close out the permanent content available in the game, as well as getting the materials and ranking up my fourth rank 4 champion, which I'm very excited about. We will reveal that and talk about it a little bit. And then finally, the fact that I skipped the July 4th deals this year and what that felt like, why I did it, where I think the game is going, and why I thought that was totally fine to miss out on this sale in terms of not spending any money or even a single unit on any of the deals this time around. We're going to go over all that. So this is definitely one of those videos if you're on a car ride or you're grinding arena and you want to just have it play in the background, feel free to do so. There will be some footage of Carina's challenges as well as just some screenshots of my profile and stuff as we get going. But yeah, as usual, I do always appreciate your support. So please do leave a comment. Let me know what you think. If anything I say today resonated with you, feel free to share with your alliance mates. And if you're not subscribed, please do hit that subscribe button as it does really help the channel. So with that, let's start by talking a little bit about Carinas. Now, when it first came out, I was super determined to try to get that profile picture and just rush through it and do whatever I could because mastery changes were free for a little bit. It just seemed like a great time after we had had a content drought to go for it. And I got only so far before getting kind of stuck in the abyss for a couple days for the Carina's Challengers objective, which in my opinion is one of the hardest ones of the 9. And then also Act 7.4 got released, and that sort of took the priority, especially also on the side, trying to grind as often as I could to get the 10k units that were needed for that deal, which at the time was pretty essential to my progression. But I did just enough of Carina's in that 10k unit deal and 7.4, and then picked up, I think, 1 or 2 offers on spring cleaning to get to the Paragon threshold, which was really important, especially for the Eternity of Pain objectives that came out. So I was really happy with that. But then I did have this one challenge left. It was the Come Out to Play. And what I want to talk about in terms of this is why, at least for me in this moment of time, Come Out to Play, which is you have to go through the abyss and kill Green Goblin only using Spider-Verse heroes, symbiotes, or Sinister Six, I believe. This piece of content at this given moment in time was the perfect piece of content for enjoyment of the game for me personally. And before I tell you why, I just want to kind of mention something that is sort of in the lore of this game that everybody always goes back to, which is when Act 5 was completed. That was the first time that summoners had access to Tier 5 basics, which now they're sort of a dime a dozen, but back then that was the only way and the first way that you could get a rank 565 5-star, which at the time was the top of the progression. This was never sold as a resource in a large enough quantity to form it before completing the content. And I think there are a lot of players, both free to play and spenders, who really have a lot of nostalgia for that moment in time, because getting through Act 5 during that period of the game, which I want to say was maybe 2018 or so, getting through it required very specific rank ups of champions, getting your roster to a level that you could counter stuff like Masochism and the Collector and Buffet and the class weakness quest and all that, and then that final Ultron. A lot of people used Loki or Medusa, but you really needed very specific account, planning and rank ups to get through that piece of content. And then additionally, when you beat the content, you got rewards that had an immediate impact on your account. Even if you didn't rank someone up immediately, everyone, if you beat Act 5, had access to Tier 5 Basic. And now we look back at that moment in history. A lot of content creators have talked about it and how the game has changed since then to be a little bit more of a pay-to-win type model than a play-to-win. And, Brian Grant has talked about this a lot, and there's never any sort of shade being thrown in terms of my personal experience, Brian's personal experience versus that of Big Whales or anything, but it's just sort of an enjoyment of game perspective that when you go in, in classic games, if you go in and you enter the dungeon and beat the big boss and you get a big reward and immediately can upgrade your account, that is a very enjoyable trope of video games. And that even though there is a monetization and spending component to Marvel Contest of Champions, finding those moments in the game are very rare. Now, I say all that because when looking at my experience with Carinas, I kind of rushed through the first several challenges, like I said, and some of them were fun. I thought the mutant domination one was really fun, and some of the Act 6 ones were fun just because I had the champions ranked, but I was really underpowered for Come Out to Play a couple months ago in March when this came out. And I think if I had rushed through it then, it would not have been as enjoyable. Because since then, from Alliance War rewards, a Nexus crystal, I got null. And then a few months, just recently, literally less than a month ago, I got a Nexus from something. I don't even remember. Maybe it was from compensation or something, but I opened a Nexus. I got Dr. Doom, who was Max Sig, and I was like, hey, let's try out these Max Sig crystals. And out of it, I think I'm going to be able to play this video in the background. Hopefully I still have it. I pulled a Cosmic 6-star Awakening gem, which I think is a pretty rare pull. So I used that on Null. I gave him 65 Sigs, which allowed him to have 5 Living Abyss. Took him to rank 3. Meanwhile, I have been slowly ranking up Miles Morales, so he was a rank 3. And then additionally, I had Spider-Man 2099 as a rank 4, so he's very powerful. And then finally, Symbiote Supreme has been rank 3 for a very long time. And one of the interesting things I've done with my 5-star resources is give every last Sig Stone and rank up material to Anti-Venom as a 5-star. So I had a Sig 200 Anti-Venom, which means he essentially has double the HP of a normal Unawakened rank 5 because of all of that block damage mitigation that you can get through with the Sig ability. So I had this very powerful 5-star, and then the rank 3s and the rank 4, and basically I had a ball doing this challenge. Getting down Darkhawk with Anti-Venom was amazing, using a 5-star and sort of just playing that fight. I got the solo on Luke Cage using Miles Morales, big shout out to Xander Scar and some others who paved the way of how to do that. Additionally, using Null for the first time basically as a ranked champion was awesome. I've literally never used him, and I just recently, as I said, awakened him, sigged him up. That was a blast. That was so much fun. And then I even got a cheeky solo of Mordo using Miles Morales. I can play some of that clip in the background, but that came out of nowhere. I was super surprised. I kind of just went in because the rest of my team was dead at that time and I hadn't team revived yet, and he just went in and rinsed the fight. So, overall, I think I used 11 revives total, and it was just a blast. And then, hearkening back to that Act 5 moment, I got a full catalyst and a bunch of Sig Stones, each of the 2 catalysts for rank 4, which with the Eternity of Pain Volume 1 rewards, it gave me access to another rank 4. So I really had this feeling of waiting and practicing and upgrading my roster, going into an endgame challenge, rinsing the challenge. 11 revives is something I'm very proud of, something I definitely wouldn't have been able to do if I did it right out of the gate. At least for me, that's very good. I know other people can probably do it close to item list, but for me, I was pumped about that. And then I immediately got to rank 4 someone, which is so cool. It's like literally you get what you need to rank up and you upgrade your account, like I was saying. So to me, I had this moment of like, yeah, the game is different. You know, we don't have those Act 5 moments of like, you know, slaying the dragon and then immediately ranking up your account that often. But I did get to experience it with this challenge. And it really just kind of like breathed a lot more life into the game for me because of that feeling of accomplishment. At least for me, that's my main motivation in the game. It's not spending money to get the next best champ and, you know, doing things like that. That has like zero drive for me to play the game that way. But for me, like ranking up for a specific purpose and beating a piece of content and then getting rewarded for it and using the resources, that's the flow of the game that I love, and I was able to achieve it. So let's look at who this rank 4 is. I happen to really love mutants. I do already have Apocalypse up there, but it was kind of a short list of champions, but I have been giving Sig Stones to Kitty Pryde, to Catherine, as a lot of my friends call her. But yeah, dude, Kitty Pryde, rank 4. I'm really happy about this decision. And I think the fact that I stepped away from Tier 1 War, even though she's an absolute beast and she does benefit from the defense tactic right now, and like if you play her well, she's a very meta attacker. You know, just check out Legacy's channel and, you know, FinTech and other players like that. But, you know, there is a little bit of risk using her in war, and typically SSX didn't love assigning her, and I understand why. And also, I don't think I would be skilled enough to use her. So I think if I was still doing competitive war, I would have been a little tentative to rank her up. But without having sort of any restrictions on rank ups or anything, I'm like, yeah, we're going to Sig 200 her. We're going to rank her up. She pairs well with so many champs that I love. Tigra, Elsa, Jabari Panther, Ghost, you know, Wasp, everything. Like, you can build these really cool teams with some of the best women champions in the game. That I just really love that they make these OP female champions. And yeah, dude, I am super excited about Kitty. And you know, that's going to be great. That's going to be absolutely great to have her on the team. So, you know, in summary, I waited for the right team. I practiced. I went in prepared. I took the content down. I had a blast doing it, and then there was a big reward at the end. And this all happened around the end of June, right? So we're already a couple weeks past this, but I'm making the video now. And lastly, we're going to talk about July 4th a little bit, right? Because this just happened. I was feeling pretty good about everything. And then, you know, I said in my last video, I'm taking a step back from the competitive game. And I think a logical part of that is to also step away from the temptation to be going hard on these big holiday offer days. And then July 4th came out, and dude, the Paragon offers were so cracked. Like, they were insane. I saw people double the amount of rank 4s they had, who were essentially my peers, you know, a day before. So there was the ability to just have so much fun opening crystals and class nexuses and getting so many rank 4 materials and selecting the champions that you're missing from 2021 and 2020. But, you know, I had been grinding for that 10K offer. Doing Alliance War really competitively made it pretty difficult for me to also be grinding the game and preparing for July 4th as like a sort of like semi free-to-play player. And also I basically only had like 1,800 units, which wasn't going to get me anything worthwhile. And then to make up the difference with spending, you know, I'd have to look at $300 minimum to get anything impactful, and probably upwards of the max, you know, pay 600 thing that you can do on these offers to get anything totally account changing. But, you know, there was certainly a little bit of FOMO going on, like watching all these great, exciting rank up videos and crystal openings that everybody had. You know, if you were a throne breaker, you could double dip on the offers. So I did literally see some people go from 1 rank 4 to 6 rank 4s, and just having a ridiculous amount of rank up materials with not even enough gold and ISO to utilize it. just because of all these gems. Like, people are having 1 to 2 gems and 2 to 3 gems expire. And just so you know, I'm not talking about one person. Like, if you shared a screenshot with me of those items coming close to expiring, trust me when I say a lot of people are in that same boat. So I'm not calling out any one person. It's a very, very common thing that happened after July 4th, if you did spend, was that the gold and the ISO and the champions to actually rank up, they couldn't catch up with the amount of resources that people got. So there was a moment of like really that fear of missing out. Like, oh man, I felt so good. I got my 4th rank 4, but now everyone I know has more. And, you know, some people are quote unquote passing me and I'm falling behind and all that stuff. And then, you know, I let it go. I held to what my standard was at the time, which is like, hey, you're stepping back from the game. There's no rush to get your 5th and your 6th rank 4. And who knows what's coming in the game when they're releasing this many materials all at once for cash. It's kind of like a sign that the next big thing is coming. I don't want to say the word, but you know, they could always add a star. They could always implement the relics soon. There's lots of ways they could go, rank 5, 6 stars, things like that. So yeah, in the back of my head, I'm thinking like, okay, something's coming if they're giving away this many materials. And then literally the week after, it was basically announced that if you're Paragon, you can get a full rank 4 worth of materials from content, and not very difficult content, mind you, over the next 8 weeks, right? Because Eternity of Pain came out. They doubled the rewards. It's 2 full catalysts. Now we have this extremely easy objective, which is just finish Cav EQ, and you get like 30% of the materials for 1 catalyst. There's a bunch in the side quest. There's a Battlegrounds beta coming out where if you get top 1000, you get like 30% of each catalyst. And then additionally, we have the Summoner Appreciation, you know, summer camp thing, which has rank 4 materials in it. So like, I did the math, and in 8 weeks, I will have rank 4 number 5, which is like, that's all I need, right? As a player who is not trying to be the best in the game, as long as I know what the next thing is and what I have to do to get there, I'm happy. So I know, you know, finish Eternity of Pain, do all the objectives. That's going to be a little bit of a grind, but I always have fun with those. Check out my recent Elsa Bloodstone video from week 1. Those are fun. And then just do the daily content, log in, and it will come. And then I'll have a profile with 5 rank 4s, and I will feel like I have at least prestige, you know, somewhat sorted for the next foreseeable future in a way that it's respectable. If I ever did want to go back to high tier, I could probably get in again. And yeah, it's just gonna go back to having fun in the game. So what I'm coming back to is that so far my break from being really intense about MCOC is really working. I'm really feeling good. I joined an alliance. It's actually VACC, the Very Angry Cows Coalition, which is run by none other than Cat Murdock, the artist. She designed all the artwork for the channel and does amazing infographics that help the community in so many ways. And her artwork just brings a lot of joy to people with her Monday mashups and all the little stickers and keychains and stuff that you can get on Etsy. So, you know, aside from just having mad respect for her as a professional in the community, I've gotten to know her a little bit on the CCP server, and I know that they ran a 2BG type alliance, which for me is perfect. It's like, if I want to do Alliance War and try to take 12 fights, I can, if people let me. But if I also need to skip a day of AQ because I'm on vacation or I'm traveling or something, you know, that's okay, because it's 2BG. Someone else can carry the weight for a couple days or things like that. It's still a little bit of loyalty, a little bit of glory. But the funny thing is there's so many rank 4 materials coming out of thin air that, you know, even looking at map 8 AQ and the amount you get for the effort is like, I almost need the gold that I would spend on the AQ tickets more than I need those rank 4 materials right now. So the game's a little out of balance in terms of the highest tier war and AQ and what you get for the effort right now. So I think this is kind of the perfect time to take a break before they sort of buff those rewards again. But either way, my outlook on the game is much better than it was when I made the I'm leaving MCOC video. I'm really not planning to leave the game just because like I am enjoying logging in. I enjoy the CCP and being able to use these new characters. Hopefully I'll be making at least a Valkyrie video this month when that comes out. And then, you know, little things here and there will come up on the channel, so definitely do stick around. So anyway, that's my journey. I just kind of wanted to go through what was going through my head with this break, and you know why I think it's okay to do things like not spend or wait to do content, or not freak out about, oh no, my friends have more champions than I do, or, you know, I'm not in the best alliance and I need to move up. It's like, no, you don't. You play your game the way you want to play your game so that it's fun, and play it with the people that you want to play with, right? We had one war so far, and I actually had a really fun war. We won, it's tier 5, and it's a different vibe. It's a totally different vibe. But like everyone still takes it seriously. Like it still has that competitive nature to it. And I'm trying to just kind of step back and enjoy it for the first time in a while without feeling this intense pressure, and using the champions that I want to use and contributing to a team of just some really, really kind and fun people to play the game with. So that's going to do it for now. Hopefully you can take something away from a video like this if you're experiencing what I was experiencing about a month ago. And just know that, you know, you don't have to play this game according to someone else's rules. You can make your own decisions about what you want to do to have fun in the game, and you can still find those moments in the game that do bring you a lot of joy. So with that, I hope you have a great day, and I'll catch you in the next one.